What if the most dangerous dog in Texas was more than just a beast? What if he was a last thread connecting a man to a lost past? The late afternoon sun stretched long shadows over the sprawling Whitmore canine estate, nestled quietly in the northern Texas hills. Rows of impeccably built kennels lined the fences, each home to dogs bred and trained with military precision. Every detail was perfect, every routine carefully maintained. Yet, at the very back of the estate was one enclosure that no one dared approach. Inside lived Max, a massive German shepherd with eyes that burned cold fire and a face marked by deep scars. Max was no ordinary dog. He didn't bark like the others. Instead, he growled low and threatening. He didn't chase intruders. He attacked. 3 trainers had tried, over the last 6 months, to rehabilitate him. 2 left with stitches, 1 left with a broken arm. Max was a legend in fear and danger. But despite the risks, Mr. Whitmore, the estate's owner, a billionaire tech mogul turned recluse, refused to put Max down or give him away. His reasons were a mystery until someone noticed a faded photograph on his office shelf. It was a boy, maybe 8 years old, sitting on a doorstep holding a dog that looked exactly like Max. The caption read, "Me and Duke, 1965. Whitmore was known as a proud, distant man, hard to approach, harder to read. Yet, with dogs, he softened. They were his last connection to something human, something real, something from his past he couldn't let go. And so, he made an announcement, a challenge, $1 million to whoever could make Max friendly to people again, not just obedient, but gentle, trusting. No one laughed. No one doubted that this was more than a contest for money. It was about saving the last piece of a love Whitmore never wanted to lose. In the heart of the bustling city, where noise and crowd swallowed the small and silent, Maya moved like smoke, unseen and unwanted. At just 12 years old, she had already learned the art of disappearing. She knew how to blend into the shadows, how to sleep on cold concrete without shivering, and how to ask for what she needed without uttering a single word. Maya's days were a patchwork of hurried footsteps, flickering traffic lights and the chill of night air. She worked corners where cars slowed, wiping windshield with a rag that was more holes than cloth, offering candy to strangers who barely noticed her. Her voice had grown quiet, not from shyness, but from years of disuse. The world rarely listened, so she stopped speaking. Her memories of family were nothing more than blurry fragments, a lullaby sung long ago, the smell of cinnamon, a soft jacket she once wore. These fragments had long been traded for cold nights under rusted awnings and empty stomachs. One afternoon, crouched near a parking lot, Maya overheard 2 delivery drivers talking beside their truck. A crazy billionaire was offering $1 million for a dog, but not just any dog. The dog was a demon, a shepherd named Max, known for tearing up grown men. Maya's ears perked up. She didn't move or blink. She just listened. "Anyone who can make it friendly again gets the money," one said. That night, curled beneath the rusty awning behind a closed gas station, Maya's sweatshirt damp and her fingers numb, her thoughts were not on hunger or cold. Instead, her mind was consumed by the dog. She didn't care about the money. She didn't even know what $1 million felt like. But something about Max, something about the idea that no one could reach him, struck a deep chord inside her ribs. Maybe, she thought, maybe he needs someone like me. For the first time in a long while, Maya felt a purpose, a hope that stretched beyond survival. Before the sun had fully risen, Maya stirred from her restless sleep beneath the rusted awning. The city was still wrapped in a foggy silence, broken only by distant sirens. Her back ached from sleeping on the cold pavement. But there was something different today, a purpose she hadn't felt in a long time. She had no address, no GPS, only a name whispered to her by strangers, Whitmore K9 Estate. Somewhere far beyond the noise and chaos of the city, past highways and fields, there lay a place that might hold answers, or at least a chance. Maya tied the laces of her worn sneakers, slung a plastic water bottle over her shoulder, and started walking. The streets were quiet in the early morning, empty except for the soft crunch of her footsteps. She cut through narrow alleyways, crossed rusty rail tracks, and headed toward the open countryside. At times, she stopped to ask for directions. Some people shrugged and walked away. Others laughed. "You're wasting your time," they said. "That place is way out there. Kid, you won't find what you're looking for." But Maya didn't turn back. As the hours passed, the hard concrete of the city gave way to dirt roads lined with dry grass and wildflowers. Her legs burned with exhaustion. Her cracked lips begged for water. Once, she nearly stepped on a snake. Twice, she considered quitting. But something inside her, a quiet hope, pushed her onward. The sun began to dip low on the horizon when, finally, she saw it. A tall wooden gate flanked by iron bars and 2 silent security cameras watching her every move. Beyond the gate, rolling hills stretched as far as she could see, buildings scattered like silent sentinels in the distance. Her stomach growled. Her legs trembled. But she took a deep breath, rested her hand against the cold metal fence, and whispered to herself, "I made it." Maya didn't know what would happen next. She didn't know who would listen. But after walking every step alone, that moment, standing at the edge of the estate, meant everything. Maya knocked on the cold iron gate, her knuckles aching from the hard metal. But no one came. She waited, eyes scanning the shadows beyond the trees, heart pounding with a mix of hope and fear. After what felt like an eternity, a guard finally appeared, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a pressed uniform and mirrored sunglasses that reflected her dirt-streaked face. "What do you want, kid?" His voice was sharp, almost dismissive. "I heard about Max. I want to try," Maya said, steady despite the exhaustion. The guard snorted, a sound between a laugh and a sneer. "You try with Max? That dog would eat you for breakfast." Without another word, he turned and walked away, leaving the gate firmly closed. But Maya didn't leave. That night, she curled up beside the gate, wrapping her thin jacket tightly around her. The wind bit at her skin, and the distant howls of coyotes echoed through the hills. But she stayed, refusing to be pushed away. Morning came, and Maya was still there. Days passed. The guards grew used to her presence, some whispering among themselves about the girl who wouldn't leave. A kind groundskeeper left her half a sandwich one afternoon. She nodded quietly in thanks, savoring each bite as if it were a treasure. Finally, after 4 mornings, a different guard stood watching her. Older, quieter. He spoke into his radio, his voice low but urgent. "Sir, there's a kid here. She's been coming every day. Says she wants to meet Max." Static crackled, then a voice responded, "I'll be there in 10. Maya didn't flinch when Mr. Whitmore arrived. The man who hadn't spoken to the press in over a decade, once the face of every magazine cover, now lived hidden behind fences and dogs. He wore a dark overcoat despite the heat, his silver hair ruffled by the wind. His eyes were sharp, unreadable, as he studied her from head to toe. "You're the one waiting," he said. Maya nodded. "Why?" "I heard no one could reach Max. Maybe that's why I should try." Whitmore's expression didn't change, but behind his gaze flickered something. Surprise? Memory? He warned, he's not safe. "I know," Maya said softly. "I don't think I can fix him. Maybe he just needs someone to stay." The silence stretched between them, taut and fragile. Then Whitmore's lips curved slightly. "Be here at sunrise. You'll have one chance." The morning sun had barely risen when Maya stepped quietly into the vast yard of the estate. The grass was still damp with dew, cool against her feet, and the crisp morning air bit through her thin hoodie. Her fingers trembled, not from the cold, but from the weight of what was about to happen. Across the field, Max appeared, powerful and tense. His black and gray coat gleamed in the early light, muscles taut and ready. His ears pricked forward, teeth slightly bared, eyes locked onto the smallest movement. The handler clipped a thick, reinforced tether to his collar and stepped back, wary of the dog's strength. Max growled deep and guttural, pulling against the chain with a force that rattled the earth beneath him. Dust kicked up around his paws as he lunged forward. The tension in the air was electric. Everyone held their breath, but Maya didn't flinch. She didn't back away or shout commands. She knelt down, still calm and steady. No tools, No tricks. Just herself. Max barked, a sharp, threatening explosion, then lunged again. His muscles strained, but Maya remained motionless, her gaze soft and patient. Minutes passed. Max stopped barking, yet his body twitched with tension. He stood at the farthest reach of his chain, breathing heavily, eyes fixed on a girl who refused to be afraid. Maya's eyes didn't meet his directly. Instead, she stared just past him, giving him space to observe without feeling threatened. Slowly, she reached into her hoodie pocket and pulled out a small, half-eaten granola bar. Carefully, she unwrapped it and placed it gently in front of her before moving her hand away. Max's eyes flicked between the food and Maya. Another minute passed. Then, for the first time, something changed. Max sat, not because he was told to, but because curiosity overcame fear. His ears twitched forward, and his tail gave the faintest flick. Maya lowered her gaze and whispered softly, "It's okay. I'm not here to make you do anything. I just want to be here." Something inside Max shifted, a thread loosening from a long knot of fear. The softness in her voice stirred a forgotten warmth, an echo of love once known and lost. He leaned forward, took the granola bar, and settled beside her. Silence fell over the yard. Even the birds seemed to pause. Mr. Whitmore stepped forward, his voice low but clear. "You did it. No one else has ever gotten close. The $1 million is yours." Maya looked down at Max and quietly said, "I don't want the money." A hush swept across the yard. "I want a safe place. 2 meals a day. And school." Whitmore's eyes softened. "That's all." She nodded. He smiled faintly. "You'll live in the main house. We have an extra room. You'll eat with me, and tomorrow we'll get you enrolled in school."